And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is the second Wednesday, July 2025. And as always, we have serious talk on everything that affects you. We're going to do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the big, beautiful bill, and all other noise emanating from Washington, D.C. that matters to you. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. Ladies and gentlemen, we got lots to cover today, but I'm going to make some specific points piggybacking what I said about the markets yesterday, and that is big changes are afoot in the markets. Areas that were dead, comatose, toast, woke up yesterday with a fervor. And when we say that to you, we're not telling you to buy, sell, short, or cover. We are letting you know that when things wake up and we start to say to you, turn the corner, turned up the right side, volume heavy, it's meaningful. So we'll cover that. And also, a little surprise for me, very rough day for the NASDAQ and the semis yesterday. And I'm thinking, well, you have a little changing of the guard here, and we'll probably get a little more weakness in the tech and stuff. Nope. The semiconductors were stars of the show today also. But I hope you are listening. The title of today's show is Broadening Out. The market is broadening out. The market is touching other bases. By the way, it's topping certain areas. We'll get to that in a bit. Areas we've told you that we're topping worsened, but the good areas of the market are gooder. And we don't rationalize why. We can sit here and say, oh, the tax bill could be. We don't know what the reasons are. We could say that a lot of foreign countries are lowering interest rates, and we expect Jay Powell to do the same very soon. And that's a little bit noisy today. We'll explain in a few minutes. We don't rationalize. So let's go back to yesterday. We simply told you home builders, housing stocks, the construction of the housing, building construction, the transports, that would be rails, truckers. How about machinery, the Caterpillars and Deeres? We even mentioned Ford and GM. We mentioned retail. I believe we even mentioned the big biotech. It was slow at first today, but as I speak, and we're in the 3 o'clock hour, and when we're just talking percentages here. We're not talking about craziness where we've seen some stocks go up 50% in a day that have no sales. The transports, as I speak, up another 1.1% today. 190 points as I speak to 16,000. 1.2%. The home builders, up about 1.2%. The building construction. And you could go look, I believe I gave you symbols yesterday, BLD and BLDR. Autos, well, Ford's up another 3% and change. GM's up 1%. Auto dealers, Auto Nation up 8. Lithium Motors up 8. Caterpillar up 7, Deere up 8. And the semiconductors, which are economically sensitive, up 103 points today, and I was worried about them yesterday. NVIDIA, I was worried about, up 350 today. KLA 10 Core opened down 15, up 21 as we speak. It is a $900 stock, just so you know. Broadcom up 5 after a rough day yesterday. The SMH up about 1.7% today. I've got something to add, though. Steel. Go look at SLX. Metals and mining. Go look at XME. They lit up today like a pinball machine. And for the record, they were comatose. They're playing catch-up now. Simple as that. To what extent, we don't know. How far they go, don't know. They really don't have earnings power and leverage, but you never know. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Right now it is 3:06 p.m. The Dow is down 17 today. We'll explain why in a second. The S&P, though, is up 25. Remember, the Dow was up 400 yesterday and the S&P was down. Technology. The NASDAQ up 171. The NASDAQ 100 up 149 as we speak. The SOX up 102. Transports 196. Advanced declines good. Broadening out. Another good day for banks. We mentioned regional banks yesterday, didn't we? The KRE, which is the Regional Banks ETF, up 1.6% today. And we're not just giving you numbers, we're letting you know technically patterns. All these areas have turned the corner. They've broken above a range. For instance, yesterday, the KRE moved above 60 where it couldn't get above for a while. It's already 62.40, not a gargantuan move. 4%. But it's meaningful because of the move, along with everything else. Oil's having a good day today. Oil prices are up, but I'm not so biggie on the oils at this juncture. But they're even having a good day off of oil prices up big today. Also of note is the yields are up too. The small and mid caps, what did we tell you? Well, the Russell 2000 yesterday edged above range. It's up another 1 and change today percent. The mid caps yesterday edged above range, up 0.75% today. But most importantly, the weight of the evidence as we build this out, as we scan 1,500 stocks a night, 200 sectors, there were a ton I didn't even have to think about. Now I have to think about them and mention them to you. Go do some homework on them. Go check out the patterns. Go see where you can draw lines as they break above those lines. All economic sensitive. Economically sensitive. Tied to the economy. United Rentals, we mentioned that, up another 11 today, for instance. So we just wanted to start you with that, and let me repeat. We don't know how long it lasts, how far it goes. We just know yesterday it was like taking a key and putting into the ignition and turning for these areas. Simple as that. The broadening out of the market is at hand. Will it die tomorrow? It could. Doubt it. Highly doubt it. because when you get all these moves at the same time, it is usually meaningful. But anything possible these days, because we have the most news-driven environment. Let me go right into that for a second. You know, Tom Massey he is against that big, beautiful bill. He has actually come out and said they have enough in the House to knock the bill to smithereens. We'll talk about that up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So as I mentioned a second ago, Tom Massey, who is against what they're calling the big, beautiful bill, he has come out today and said that they have enough no votes in the House to put down the big, beautiful bill of massive spending and tax cuts. We'll see how that plays out. Again, is there a cause and effect with the markets? If we had our back to the wall and we asked, what's the reason here? Well, you have all these countries lowering their rates, and I believe Jay Powell is next. Along, I think, with that bill, tax cuts are always good. And believe it or not, in the short run, big debt and deficits is actually pretty good for the markets. And by the way, we don't talk too much about money supply, but the money supply is skyrocketing, and you can go read up about that. But I want to do some repetition here so you know where I'm coming from. You know when we do the 100 stock example? Well, let's do it the other way. Imagine there's 100 stocks in the market and 30 of them are doing really well and 70 of them are not. 70 of them are in downtrends, but those 70 all of a sudden stop going down and they flatten out and they turn up. Not in bull markets, but they are counter trending. So they go up, let's say a few percent, and then stop. They make a right turn and spend some time at those higher levels and then rally above that level. And then they spend some time at that level and then they rally above that level. That's what's going on with the rest of the market now. While we've had these good moves in the big banks like Goldman Sachs or Netflix and the like, all these other areas have been dormant, sleeping. And we made a point yesterday to let you know they woke up. And typically, on a day they wake up like that, there's more. And you don't know if it's going to be the next day or how long, but today they opened up kind of soft. They're now ramping. And again, we're talking 1%, 1.5%. But they're important 1 and 1.5% because they're breaking above ranges, definable areas of resistance being overcome by these areas. And when you have more and more, it tells you about the market. So if you had 30 stocks working and 70 not, you now have 70 working and 30 not. Guess what? Helps the market overall. That's your story right now. And even ignoring this Massey thing, this guy came out, and we're not giving an opinion on it today. No opinions today, because I wouldn't be too nice. He came out and stated they have enough votes to put down the bill. And one would think that wouldn't be friendly. The market, it wouldn't be too friendly, but so far the market couldn't give a crap. And frankly, throughout the last couple of hours, the market's bettered. I have my screens in hand here while I'm in London, And by the way, it's 8:40 p.m. right now in London. And they're just ticking up the Caterpillars and the Deers, the Union Pacifics and the FedEx and the Lennars and Pulte Homes and the auto dealers and Ford and GM. And some of these companies do not have Caterpillar's earnings stink. Revenues stink. But the market's buying it up right now, betting on something going forward. And we'll keep telling you about it. So let's repeat. July 1st, a Tuesday, we came onto this show and told you things are changing. A bunch of areas in the market have come out of their coma. The best news on what we said yesterday is we were worried it would affect the other areas. They didn't affect them today. The semiconductors up 100, the NASDAQ up. That's all good news. Goldman Sachs up another 8, JP Morgan still on the move. And let me read some numbers to you. 2,824 up, 1180 down on the New York, 2699 up, 1313 down on the NASDAQ. The advanced declines. Better. What else do I got for you? Strong day for the Bitcoin. Been range bound, but tracing out some bullish range bound here. Just letting you know. We'll let you know if it breaks out again. We think odds favor that will happen. Not 100%. Odds favor. Also want to mention, I get back to the semis. We have some new highs. Taiwan Semiconductor hit a new yearly high today. Recently, Broadcom did, but that has pulled back. NVIDIA hit a new yearly high yesterday, but pulled back a little bit yesterday. Pulled back yesterday, but rallying back up today. I only have a few complaints, and it's just about areas we want you to avoid. One of the big areas we have told you to avoid for a very long time, that United Health area, that is your managed care, your health maintenance organizations. Overnight, Centene, symbol CNC, announced they can't give earnings anymore at this juncture, something to that effect. It's down 35% today. $34, down 22 and change. What did that do to the rest? Elevance down 41 to 354. Cigna down 10 to 324. Molina Health down $64 to 241. And United Health, after actually having a good day yesterday, back down 16 today, which, by the way, is about 100 Dow points. And the Dow's only down 20. So we want you to avoid these managed cares like the plague. And we've been telling you that for a while, but there's another area too. And it kind of sort of is like a brother-sister of the managed care, and that's insurance. Insurance stocks are getting hit. We'll cover that next, as well as a couple other areas. This is the one only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So insurance stocks are getting hit also. And we'd avoid most of them. We'd also avoid a lot of Chinese stocks. Still in very bad. Alibaba and Baidu, the two of the biggest names, not very good. Waste management stocks, totally breaking down. RSG, WCN, WM. I'd be careful about the hospitals also now. And some other medicals too. When I see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, I worry. And by the way, between Travelers in the Dow and United Health in the Dow, 25, 150, 162 Dow points to the negative. And the Dow's only down 22. Why? Goldman up 8, Caterpillar up 7, Amgen up 6. Remember what we said about big biotech yesterday? That woke up. Oh, and by the way, we also told you Apple was waking up. That's up about 2% today. Apple looks like it's turned the corner here, and it has been brutally ugly. And on a relative basis, doubly brutally ugly. But that's turned up also right now. Keep in mind, I'm not so sure it's going too far. We'll see. We'll see. Gold, better, back above the 50-day, but just in multi-week range bound. The same for the gold miners. But that advanced declines, the up-downs, the broadening out, usually is sticky. If that changes, we will let you know. Again, there's Tom Massey that is out stating they have the votes to knock down that bill that I think the market's been betting on. We'll see how it plays out. The president in the news said he's cut a trade deal with Vietnam. I am going to be the pleasant Gary today. I am not going to be opinionated on the news. I'm just going to report it, because if I was going to be opinionated, I'd be overly opinionated Gary. So in the news, the president announced a deal with Vietnam. He says that Vietnam will pay the United States a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent into our territory and a 40% tariff on any transshipping. He says Vietnam is paying for the tariff on things coming in here. I will let that sit and not be opinionated on it. Also, William Pulte is the head of the Federal Housing, whatever you want to call it, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He is asking Congress to investigate Jay Powell for political bias and deceptive testimony. He supposedly made, and I'm just repeating this, factually inaccurate statements to the committee regarding the Fed's plush private dining room and elevator skylights, water features, and roof terrace, and that is typical of mismanagement and don't bother me attitude that Jay Powell has always shown. Chairman Powell needs to be investigated by Congress immediately, and they're looking to, quote unquote, remove him for cause. I repeat, I'm going to give no opinion on this. This is opinion-free Gary today. I believe by me not giving any opinion on that, it tells you what I think. You know that scumbag murdering son of a bee? What's his name? Brian Koberger? Who has been accused of murdering 4 college students, 3 women, 1 man, in Idaho or Iowa, one of those places. Well, after months of preliminaries, he is pleading guilty to murder, and that way he gets out of the death penalty. I am bringing this up because my sons are now of age. They're adults now. But my goddaughters, one of them is going to go into college soon. And I just think about these things, and since we have a radio show, and I'm thinking to myself, the prosecutors are letting him plea so he does not get death row. Why would you let him plea when you have him dead to rights? They have everything on him. Somebody's got to answer that question. And then, of course, the other part. Shouldn't the fathers of the victims be able to have 30 minutes in a closed room, locked doors, bats in hand, with this guy for murdering their children? Is that being mean? I got to tell you, if it was my daughter that was murdered, or my son, I believe one of them was a male, and I'm not a violent person. I have to bring this up. I'm bringing this up because it's in the news. It does not matter to the markets, to your wallet, but we believe covering things that we think should or could be covered. I don't understand the prosecution. Speaking of that, P. Diddy, is that his name or whatever? He was found guilty of the prostitution charges, but not of the trafficking charges. It seems like he's only going to get months in jail, not years, but he's already been in jail for a year, so he'll probably get time served. But he's a scumbag. He's a dirtbag. And let's hope the whole musical whatever community just shuns him, drowns his ass out. There's a video of him beating the crap out of his girlfriend in the middle of the lobby. Not to mention all the other crap. Why do I think he's going to be accepted over time again? That was in the news today. That has absolutely nothing to do with you and your money. Your questions. Do you know what a big question I get from a lot of you? It's called the Buffett indicator. Warren Buffett has this indicator about the price of the market, whether it's cheap or expensive. And I guess his indicator is at big record highs, meaning very, very, very expensive. And always when it gets in these, it's past all the worst levels, the market always gets in trouble. Here's my answer to that. We'll let the market decide. Right now, the market's just broadening out. And I gather it's going to go higher. Not necessarily everything, but overall. When that changes, we'll let you know. And you know who's the best at recognizing market tops and the turning down of markets. I'm raising my hand. We'll let you know. But right now, we're just fine. And as we've said to you, big banks, new yearly highs, semiconductors, new yearly highs. We've never seen a bear market when that occurs. You got that? We've never seen a bear market when that occurs. So that would have to change. The advanced declines would have to change. You know how we were able to call tops in all the markets in the past? Indices would hold up while we get 2 to 3 to 1 negative days as things worsen. We're getting the opposite right now. Up next, more on this, that, and the other thing or whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. In bad news, my Mets are on the skids. Very unhappy right now. They got to come out of it. It's normal during a long season to have a bad moment and whatever, but it's not getting better. In bad news, in my sports, the Knicks have hired Mike Brown as the new coach. I'm sorry. Thibodeau, who they fired is filet mignon. Mike Brown is spam. But we'll wish him well. He will now be running my team. And hopefully he does good. That is my sports for today. We're in London, England. Let me give you the lay of the land so you know. They hate the guy running the UK, Starmer. They can't stand him. The latest, have you heard this before, by the way? He went back on, he was supposed to, because of deficits, cut down on welfare, and now he was pressured not to. So they're all getting pissed off at him here. And if you think the media is tough in the U.S. on certain people, you should see what goes on here. Members of Parliament, have you ever seen them back and forth arguing? And also the other part, the big problem here, their National Health Service. Do you know the big discussion right now is to make sure people that need certain surgeries have it within 16 weeks? Last I looked, that's almost 4 months you'd have to wait for surgeries, and that's on the low end. By the way, it's completely government-run healthcare, and we're not here to put them down, but it's government-run healthcare, and I'm not telling you anything they wouldn't tell you because it's in the news on a daily basis. I love it here. I think it's a magnificent city. I think all of the UK. I've been north to Manchester, all the way down south. I've been west. I've been east. I've been in the little towns. Love it here. And London, I can't get enough. I just love it. I think it's just a great place, majestic. People are great. I can visit all the sites time and time again. And may I state for the record, there's a lot of tourism here. A lot of people here. I asked the way and they said business is good. Business is booming. So just letting you know. I'll be at Wimbledon tomorrow. Can't wait. It's going to be good weather. And when we get back, we'll give you the lay of the land. But very good to see. Not a fan of the BBC. They're totally anti-Semitic. Do like Israel. But welcome to the world. Yay. In other news, yeah, I'm going to pass on the other news. We'll leave it at that. Back on the markets. It's going to close in about 20 minutes. The Dow's still down 30. But in the Dow, Goldman is up 9. In the Dow, Caterpillar up 7. Amgen up 6. Apple up 4. NVIDIA up 360. Nike up 3. Earnings were down 86%, but I guess they have something going on with Amazon the market likes. But on the other end, Travelers down 9.5 and United Health down 18. With the implosion, and may I be clear, implosion of the managed care health maintenance organization industry and the stocks, that I gather they're going to have to look themselves over on, I guess, pricing, claims, and all that. And not interesting, but this kind of started or really intensified with that murder of that stupid prick Luigi, who's getting marriage offers from women and got bazillion dollars in a GoFundMe. even though he shot somebody in the back dead. Like the wimp and coward that he is. Boy, there's some weird people out there, kids. But back on point, I'd be as far away from these stocks as possible. As far away as possible. Because when you have somebody like Centene come out and say, "Oh, we're just not going to give out these," it almost said like they don't know, have no control. And last I look of import is you need to know your business and your margins. And right now, wow, 35% drop. This is not a small company. Taking down others today. And taking, I think, insurance also. Little cousin sector. We'll let you know if anything changes there. We mentioned Bitcoin. We'll just mention it again. I think there's a shot here. It's going to make another move. It's been range bound since 6 months ago. Back near the highs again. Held the 50-day to the penny recently. We'll let you know. Tomorrow and Friday, Best of Gary. Believe it or not, we're going to do the bear market shows. Just in case you need to remember, even though we're in a better market. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully, and when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Peace out. We'll be back live on Monday. Good night.